Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Arthur Murray Lifestyle Series. I'm Victoria Regan, the Global Ambassador for Arthur Murray International. When there are too many credentials to even mention, it's best to just introduce the person that has accomplished those credentials. Her name is Carolina Orlovsky. She's here with us for this episode, and I'm very excited to talk to you and let everybody know what you've done and where you're from. So you're from Canada?
I'm from Canada, and it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I was
You're
born in
welcome.
Toronto, and I found my way to the U.S. after graduating a performing arts high school.
Yeah, because you started with ballet at the age of 5.
5, yes.
And music theater, so that made this whole path very easy for you, didn't it?
It made it easy, but there was still a
Easier.
transition,
Yeah.
yes, because of the styles being so different.
So you started in ballet and music theater, and then what took you to ballroom, if that would be the next step that we cover?
I moved to New York when I was 18 to study at the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, where I did contemporary Afro-Cuban, Afro-Caribbean, Graham technique, and more ballet. And I found myself feeling unfulfilled with just that style, so in the evenings I was going to take more dance classes, do other types of jazz and musical theater that Alvin Ailey didn't provide. And on my way passing one day, I noticed there was a sign for Milonga, and I went in because I had fallen in love with Argentine tango right before I moved. I saw Forever Tango, and I, promised myself I would learn Argentine tango. So here I am in New York. There's a Milonga. I go up the stairs to a studio. I open the door, and that was really the beginning of my journey into ballroom through Argentine tango.
Okay, and after that, you explored a little bit of salsa also?
I was sneaking into salsa clubs when I was 18 in Toronto with my parents' permission, actually.
Oh.
So after ballet, my dad would drop me off and pick me up. 2 hours later, I would just dance salsa for 2 hours, go home and do homework, and go to school the next day, because it was Tuesday nights that I was doing that. But I really was passionate about salsa music.
And you went to university in New York?
I went to Columbia University for creative writing, and then I transferred to Baruch College. And long story short, after I entered that ballroom studio, I eventually ended up working in a ballroom studio myself, where I met my former partner of 14 years, Felipe, and we became American Rhythm United States finalists 9 times, 3-time vice champions.
Impressive.
World Mambo champions, and World American Rhythm Show Dance champions. And those were some of the highlights of our career, and it was a long career. We did Dance Legends on Broadway.
Yes.
And so after meeting him and living in New York, New Jersey, the tri-state area for almost 11 years, we moved to California in 2007.
He was a great match for you.
Thank you.
Wasn't he? He was
Yes,
really a great
yeah.
match. He had, where was he from, Felipe?
Felipe is half Mexican and
Yes.
half El Salvadorian.
You see, it was just perfect. You with your classical and your beautiful lines and legs and rhythm, and then he was the same. So that was a big success. You moved to California, and then you got with Arthur Murray's. You were introduced to Arthur Murray's.
A few years later, after we had retired in 2010, and I had my daughter in 2011.
Leah.
Yes, Leah. And then Felipe and I decided to go our separate ways, and I joined Arthur Murray in 2017. I called John. I researched a lot, and there was a lot of schools in the California area, both north and south. And I thought, oh my God, there's so much work here. And I was already coaching many Arthur Murray professionals at that point. And they were all very encouraging of me, telling me I had the right mentality and personality to excel within the company. So I called John, and then shortly after I called John, I called Steve Platt. And that was the beginning of a very fulfilling journey for me in Arthur Murray.
Yeah, so that's 2017.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not that long, but
Yeah.
so when you were coaching all the couples, did you really find it a different system from before to the Arthur Murray system? Is that what gave you the encouragement to call John and say you just thought it was wonderful?
You know what, I wanted a friendly, family-oriented community atmosphere, and I hadn't found that fully yet.
Mm-hmm.
And Arthur Murray really gave me that in a huge way. And it was very special to work with the pros because they were given so many options of which type of path they could take to success. And there was more than one. And there was more than one path that a professional could take based on whether they wanted to eventually become a franchisee themselves or whether they wanted to become a traveling consultant and coach and excel artistically. There was people who really had a specialty and they were honored for their gifts. So it felt like, you're good at this and I see that you're good at this, so I'm going to pull this out of you and guide you this way. And that was very unique to me and very special.
Yeah, because in our life we just think, oh, you could be a dance champion and that's the only way you can really be important or succeed. Whereas here with Arthur Murray's, you can be a champion in any department, right?
Right, and being a champion in Arthur Murray is really helping others.
Yes.
Is what you do for other people. That is truly the definition of being a champion, which is far beyond an artistic measure. Although they value people who are super talented and have achieved artistic success and accolades, they also value people who serve others. And I think Arthur Murray is a company that's designed for people who value service and serving others and find a greater purpose in connecting with other people and then helping them achieve their goals.
Which is nice when you're competing, sometimes you feel that, sometimes you don't. So that's one of the qualities.
And it's very easy to get sidetracked and distracted from the point. It's not about making champions. It's about giving people access to something that maybe was denied to them at some other point in their life. And they walk into Arthur Murray very often as adults, where I was privileged because I was given dance classes as a child. They might not have been. And now they're finally getting this opportunity to live the dream that they've always had. And it's really nice to be part of that. That's very special. And that I take that responsibility extraordinarily seriously. And I want to provide them with everything they wish the experience to be.
Which you do, I think, from what I understand.
I try my best, yeah.
So for the pros, let's see what advice you'd give the pros within the company. You've had an experience, and I think the times have changed a bit. I don't know, I feel that they have more opportunities within the company, maybe than we did before even.
Yeah.
And so they want to dance, everyone wants to dance, and they should. What would you say their priorities should be? Because you know what it takes to become a dance champion. We do have people that want to become champions. How would you talk to them about that? Rather, you don't want to discourage them, but...
No, but you have to identify your strengths and your weaknesses. And based on what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, you can pick a style, for example, to focus on. Maybe you're genuinely, truly gifted at both. Very few people are truly gifted at both. And I think having a focus becomes a priority. And if you find a strength, you should go toward the strength and not the weakness.
So having discussed choreography, let's move forward to judging. The judging process that we have to do. So many of the couples, so many people say, what are you looking for? It seems obvious to us, you know, quality, timing, posture. But when it comes to choreography, any advice you have for that? Sorry.
Very often I'm deleting things when a couple comes to me and they show me their choreography, I find myself having to say, well, why is this necessary? Kind of like an editor looks at a book and they take stuff out and help the couple get to the point as fast as possible, because with 1:15 or 1:30 seconds, it's very limited. So anything that's not necessary shouldn't be there. And you want to get to the point, get to the highlights, share the main idea, convey the style of the dance, the point of the dance. So cha-cha is staccato, it's sharp, it's got a very ticky rhythm, it has lots of impact. If the cha-cha doesn't deliver that message within the first 30 seconds, the judge typically will look away. And so you don't need a lot of choreography or a lot of steps to do that.
Exactly, and you want the story, you want it to be clear.
Yes.
The clarity is important. And so that would be mainly, well, also for students, but mainly for pros. For students, we often see they want a lot of choreography, but
When a student asks me for choreography, I ask them to dance something for me because I want to see what their range of movement is. And based on what I see them do in front of me, I then build some choreography off of what I think their abilities are and their strengths are. And then when I notice something is not their strength, I deliberately do not put it into the choreography.
Even if they ask for it.
Even if they ask for it, it does not feature them in the best light. And I'm trying to, okay, if I was making you a dress and you had fabulous legs, I would want everything about what I was making for you feature your legs. Or you had a fabulous back. I would cover everything but completely open your back. So that's all everybody could look at and talk about. Oh my God, her back. Did you see her back? So that is a strategy that is very effective. If you're building choreography for a student, and for example, they're not very flexible, but they can do a back bend, they just can't kick their leg. Don't have them kick their leg. Do the back bend without the leg. Let's say they're not very good at turns. Don't turn, or keep the turns very sharp.
In closing, Carolina, would you share your experience with the Arthur Murray lifestyle with our audience?
Of course, I'd be happy to share what an honor and privilege it is to be a traveling consultant with Arthur Murray International, as I get to go to places like Lima, Peru, and experience culture and diversity, but yet share the same syllabus that I'm used to working with in all the other Arthur Murrays I travel to across the United States and Canada. And it's just amazing to walk in and see the hunger for knowledge and the thirst in a city, in a country like Peru, and experience what training professionals is like there and what training students is like there. And it's truly a gift. I was recently in Japan, in Osaka and Tokyo, actually probably 7 schools, and it was just incredible to see the hunger there and the work ethic and the level of respect and how the culture influences the learning process and the dancing. And if I wasn't a traveling consultant for Arthur Murray, I wouldn't get to experience these things. And the worldwide community that Arthur Murray is connects people all the time through Zoom now, through a variety of different ways to connect pros, to create show dances, to create professional numbers, to interact between studios, even across country lines. And it's just truly incredible. And that when you're teaching dance, you use your body, you use your hands, you use your emotion. And now language is no longer a barrier, because somehow we find a way to understand each other through just the transfer of energy and through the physicality of the movement itself. So if I was not, a single mom, it would be so difficult to be able to sustain my life and provide for my child without the stability and security and community that Arthur Murray provides for me.
Thank you. We are so lucky to have you also.
Thank you.
Thank you for this interview. It's been fun. And thank you, everyone. You now know a little more about Carolina and appreciate her, I'm sure. And I will see you on the next episode.